my mother, my brother in the United States, a professor, and others. I said, look, if the Gambian people have confidence in you and they have trust in your ability to lead them, they have confidence that you can do for the country what they wish for their country, you are not more patriotic than them. No, you shouldn't betray their trust. You must accept it. And then I accepted to become leader of the United Democratic Party. And I did so, fully realizing that I was taking on a very enormous task, when that there were hopes and aspirations, that I also knew that I was exposing myself, members of my immediate and extended family, to grievous harm, that anything could befall them. But then all members of my family stood by me, my friends stood by me, and they were prepared and still are prepared to go with me through hell, through through hellfire, whatever the consequences may be. And I'm gratified by that. And after a while, after having gone into it, I thought that I probably was carrying on the legacy of my dad, who had fought for the independence of the Gambia, the legacy of Pierre Sarinjai, who had brought me up, that there were people who stood for justice, fought for justice, and gave their lives for justice. And I should also carry on that legacy, because leaving the Gambia to be hijacked, leaving the government to be hijacked by the military junta, by default of Gambians, to pose challenge to them, would really be doing disservice to the legacy of this gentleman. And that really is now my moving spirit.
Do you have any regrets of having engaged yourself in Gambian politics?
I have absolutely no regrets. I have absolutely no regrets of having been engaged in politics. After all, it is service to the public, it is service to my nation, and there's nothing that I can offer to my fellow countrymen other than accept their invitation to lead them out of this quagmire.
Thank you, Mr. Darboe. Party politics in a situation where winner takes all, like in the Gambia, implies a lot of sacrifice, like losses of a lot of your legal firms, clientele, and financial repercussion. How has this affected you and your family over the years?
Well, my practice has been adversely affected. Prior to August 1996, I had built up very decent and really wide clientele, both within and outside the Gambia. My practice was flourishing, and thank God, my family didn't have to worry about anything. And but then, having got into politics, this really affected my practice. The corporations that I was serving as a routine lawyer, all of them terminated the retainership, and this was principally because of government, and that was government of that local. We have to close the taps, so that the lifeline of UDP politics, would be strangled. But thanks to God, they have not succeeded in doing that. By the grace of God, UDP is moving on and will continue to move on. And my family of course accepts that in the Gambia, being in an opposition party goes with certain discomfort, and they are quite willing to accept that discomfort, and they have always stood by me in times of need, in times of hardship, and they've been encouraging that all this will come to an end, and we will one day sit back and recount the stories with joy.
Are there any achievements on the President Jammeh's 15-year rule that you acknowledge?
Absolutely, absolutely. You cannot deny that a regime, however bad it is, having been in charge of the affairs of a state for even for 2 years, you can't deny that such a regime any achievement. I must say that there have been some infrastructural developments. No one can deny that. Schools have been built, or at least buildings have been built, for many schools. Edifices have been built, called hospitals. There have been, construction of roads. These are facts that no one can deny. And if anyone wants to deny those facts, you're not being honest.
But some of his critics are saying that those schools are built, it doesn't provide teachers in them, it doesn't provide resources in the classroom, hospitals has been built, there are not enough nurses or equipment in those hospitals.
That is my quarrel, that is my quarrel. I agree that, he has done those things, and probably for a sensible government, a legal sensible government that will come in future, will build on those foundations. Because I would have thought that, with the school building programs, this will go hand in hand with the training of qualified teachers, the availability of adequate and relevant teaching materials for the schools. I thought, it should have been that. But you just go on, having schools mushrooming everywhere. As I say, it's laying the foundation really for any responsible and reasonable government that comes over after him to continue to improve on what he has started. But you cannot deny the fact that there have been infrastructural development.
Now let's come to your very self. Are there some things you have said, done, or taught on your political career that you now regret?
Absolutely. Again, it is impossible for one to lead a party from 1996 to date, about almost 13, 14 years, without having done things that you would not have done if the occasion arises for you to do those things again. Let me say the decision that I took, and I accept responsibility for it, even though it is said that it's collective responsibility. I accept personal responsibility for it, because maybe if I put my foot down and or did proper investigation, I wouldn't have agreed to it. Is the boycott of the 2001 National Assembly elections. It is a decision that I regret, and I owe an apology to the Gambian people for having agreed to be lured to taking such a decision. 5 months after the decision was taken, it became very apparent to me why my principal advice on that issue, convinced me to read. So, it's a matter of history, and I can assure you that under my leadership, UDP will never boycott any elections. And the other decision that I also agreed to, I took, was to suspend the political activities of UDP while the negotiation for NAD, for the creation of NAD, was going on. That really slowed down the UDP in its grassroots mobilization. And when we started to take off after my resignation from NAD, it was a little bit too late. These two decisions, I personally take responsibility for them, and I regret them.